Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Buck and today's agenda is Google Forms and using it as an assessment tool. So follow along with me as we talk about how to use this very helpful tool.
All right, so let us begin. We have our desktop here. We're going to open a Google Chrome browser. Once you are here, you're going to be looking for your waffle or Rubik's Cube. How you find that is you need to make sure you're on some kind of a Google page. It should be there. If it's not, you could have something where it just has the Google bar and none of this. You may have to sign in, so make sure you go ahead and sign in. And it should have that waffle right there for you. Now we are going to click here, and this is going to open up our Google Apps. I'm looking for the app Forms. It will probably be on this next menu, so I'm going to click here, More, and here is my Forms icon. Let's open it. And now I'm on the Google Forms page. We are going to start with a blank document, but know that what I'm going to show you will work for anything that is previously created. If you've already created something such as a CFA, you can easily convert it and make your own answer key. Blank document. I'm going to very briskly run through the different parts of forms so you're aware, but if you need a tutorial that breaks down each of these sections I'm going to name, just let me know, write me an email and I'll show you and or make a different video. So we have an option for us to name our assessment. I'm going to name it sample 1. It has put it at the top of my assessment. Up here is kind of my overall Google Forms toolbar. This puzzle piece is for add-ons. We are not going to get onto add-ons, don't worry about it. This is the color palette. You may change the look of your assessment if you like. It is not required, but the option is available. This button is preview. I'm going to click on this button later to show you exactly what it does, but it allows you to look at it as a student would, because right now we're looking at it as the creator of the form, and we need to see what it looks like whenever the student views it so we can make sure there are no mistakes. If you hear me talk about a gear, I am referring to this. This is your settings menu, and it's going to be the most important button for our video today. There is send. Send is how we are going to share our form. You can email it individually to each student, but I have found the best way is to simply make a link, shorten it, and then copy this link on your Google Classroom page. Just set it there. Tell your students to go there. They click on the link, it's going to take them to that student view that we're going to look at momentarily. I call these the jelly beans. Jelly beans is just some overall other options. You can make a copy, delete the whole thing, print the whole thing. You can add collaborators to work on it with you. Be mindful that they can change things and you may not know they changed it. So make sure you are actually collaborating and communicating. Um, and that's those options. Here's your help. Here's your profile. Now, here is the form. How we edit the form is this toolbar. It allows me to make questions, create titles, add images, add videos, and create sections. A tip, even though it's going to record the emails if you choose, I always, just out of habit, start all of my assessments with a name. You may have noticed my document just switched itself to short answer because it remembers what I normally choose for this kind of question. When I type in name colon, it knows that I'm going to switch it to this. So it's kind of a cool feature that Google is monitoring and kind of learning your, I guess, tendencies. These buttons are to duplicate this question, delete this question, you can make it required, which I always make the name required, and then you can show a description of it and response validation with the little jelly beans here. Just for funsies, I'm going to add another part that I would always have on an assessment. I'm departmentalized in my grade, and I just like to know the homerooms, or have them choose their homeroom teacher. So there we have it, a multiple choice. I'm going to make it required. And since this is really not part of the test, this is simply just the identification for me. I'm going to make a section. I made that with this equal sign, and actually have a section of tests. Now, my students have communicated to me that they like section breaks because otherwise the screen can get very long and scrolling. So they like the breaks. That's just from a 8-year-old. I'm going to type in 2 questions. I'll have this be multiple choice. Um, um, okay, make my question required, just so we can see what different question types do. I'm going to make this a multiple select. Um, I'm going to make this question required as well. So there's just a very quick form. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on what I just did, but this is your answer types, your question types rather. I've just checked boxes. You have lots of other ways to respond. And this first one is a multiple choice question. Now, I want this to grade itself, or any other document I make to grade itself if it is an assessment. How I'm going to do that is this very important button. This is the gear. That should solve that. So on this gear, I'm going to just press. And here is my settings menu. I can collect the email responses, which I'm going to go ahead and collect. You can restrict it to just the Lincoln County school users. So that is the @lcdoe.org kind of usernames. You can limit it to one response, which for the CFAs, we want to limit it to one response. Now, I can have the respondents edit after each submission. I don't want them to, if this is a CFA, for example, but that option is available, or to see a summary. And I also don't want this because for the CFA, because that's what I have in mind for this assessment. Presentation, I can have a progress bar. I can shuffle the question order, but be mindful, I did number my questions, so that may be odd if the name is in the middle of the test and the test goes 8, 3, 2, 7, whatever. I can create a confirmation message at the end. This is the automatic one, but you can personalize it in any way you'd like. And the most important part of this video is this section here. It's quizzes. You want to make this a quiz. Now, this is going to allow me to make an answer key. You can release the grade automatically after each submission or later after manual review. I do not want to release the grade if this is a CFA. If it's CFA, I don't want them to see the missed questions or the correct answers or the point values. So we're just going to uncheck all of that. And you can have this for another question. I have it for my classroom assessments. I want them to know what they missed. I don't let them see the correct answers. They have to figure that out for me later. And I also, in my class, make it immediate because I want them to have immediate feedback when possible. But for the CFAs, we don't want those, so we're going to leave those unchecked. So I'm going to save this. And now you might not notice what this has done, but this is giving me a new option, and it's right here, the answer key. Now, if you looked at another form, When I had a form before, the question did not have those blue letters right there. So whenever I went to the gear and whenever I select the quizzes and turn this on, it is now giving me this option to make an answer key. So now when I click on it, I can assign this question a point value and I can choose what the correct answer would be. Same here, switch to answer key, assign it a point value. And let's say that I realize that there is a mistake in my question and I'm trying to click on it, but I can't change it. You do have to switch back to the edit question mode. Now I can change my question and vice versa. If I realize that I wanted to add a different response, it's not working, it's because I need to go back to the answer key. In the edit question, it shows me what I have selected in the point value so I can check to make sure I'm not missing anything. Just so you're aware, that is maybe what's going on if you're experiencing problems. You can also add feedback if you'd like. That is available to you. But that is kind of the gist of making this a assessment and creating an answer key. You take the make the answer key as you create the assessment itself. Or if you already have an assessment, you would go through, make it a quiz, and then you'd have to assign a correct answer to each one. I want to see what this looks like as a student, so I'm going to hit preview. Okay, and this is what that section did, by the way. You see how I only have this on the page? It's because I created a section. All right, okay, here are some questions for me that I'm going to answer. I'm going to submit. Now, because I did not allow the immediate feedback or for them to see missed questions and stuff, it just says this. There is no option for them to click on. I did that all in the settings menu. So make sure your CFAs have this, but for Classroom, you can have it whatever you like. Okay. Now, when I go back to this creator view, you might notice now I have a response. And since we have a response, we're going to click on this tab. So this shows me an overall score of how my class did, the average, median, and range. As I scroll down, I can see the scores. This would be very neat for a grade book. Just boom, 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 write it down. If you don't have any assessment or questions you need to grade yourself, like a short response. I can see each question type. And by the way, I've had this question before. They asked, why is this a pie chart and these aren't? And it's because this was not a question with a point added to it or correct answer added to it. I left it alone, so it made it just showing me the percentages of what was pressed. But whenever we do add the point value and the correct answer, it's going to change the view to this. So I can see my class did great. I had 100% on this, and we had 100%. Oh, they're passing with flying colors. You can look at each question individually. So that was my first one. My second. Here we go. 1 out of 1. Okay. That is a way to break it down. When I grade, I always look individual because I can see, oh, they made a 100, a 5 out of 5. And I can quickly look to see what they did miss, if anything. And I can just go on to the next student. I can print the response here. I can delete the response if they've duplicated it, if I left that on. If I want all of this information into an Excel sheet, I'm just going to press here on this spreadsheet. And if I need some more options, I can get email notifications for new responses. I can select where I want this to go in my drive. I can download all the responses or print or delete all the responses. That's what you can do with this Jelly Bean menu. And if you no longer want to accept responses because your test is over, because the CFA may have been given in a window, you can turn this off. And that way, if you have provided a link on your classroom, if they go back and try to click on it later, now they are no longer able to. It will just say this quiz is no longer available, or this form rather. And that is a very quick kind of jump into Google Forms and making it self-assess.
Well, there you have it. That was my brief tutorial on how to use Google Forms. So let me know if I helped you. Let me know if you need more help. Just email me. My contact is here, and I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience. Thank you, everyone. Bye.